see about a topic that is called as cholelithiasis. The other name for it that is called as gallstones. So introduction, it is a term, or you can say the calculus disease of biliary tract. It is a term that is applied to the diseases of gallbladder and the diseases of the biliary tract that are the distinct results of gallstones. So gallstone disease, it is the most common disease which is affecting the biliary system. The true prevalence rate, it becomes difficult to determine as calculus may remain asymptomatic. Okay, so if we go by definition here, the word meaning that is chole, which means gallbladder, right? Lithia, which means stones, and cis, that means process. So cholelithiasis, that is the formation of gallbladder stones which are composed of either calcium, cholesterol, or bile pigments. And so accordingly you can say the types of gallstone. The types of gallstone that is determined on the basis of the cholesterol content that is present in the stone, and accordingly you can identify it as the cholesterol stones, pigment stones, and mixed type of stone. So if we see about this cholesterol type of stone, here it has got 80% or more cholesterol. This appear yellow in color and are oval in shape and have a dark spot in center. If we talk of about pigment stone, it has got less than 20% of cholesterol. They are either black or they are brown in color, and it has a high bilirubin concentration. And if we talk of about the mixed stones, this is between 20 to 80% of cholesterol content, and along with other constituents it also has got bile salts and calcium that is present. Okay, so now let's see the basic difference which is present between the cholesterol stones and the pigment stones. So cholesterol stones, and that is about 80% of the stones. It has 10 to 20% of which are radiolucent, and it is linked to obesity, to Crohn's disease, to cystic fibrosis, to age, and to prevalent estrogen therapy. Whereas if we talk of about pigment stone, these are about 20% of the stones that are pigment stones. These are either radio opaque, be it the condition called as the hemolysis, or radiolucent, that is radiolucent it appears in cases of infection, and it is linked to disorders like chronic hemolysis, alcoholic cirrhosis, again present as with age, biliary tract infection, and present with sickle cell anemia. So this is the basic point of difference between the cholesterol as well as the pigment stones. Now let's move further with the incidence, that is the prevalence rate present in it. So women, they are more likely to develop cholesterol gallstones as compared to that of male, especially during their reproductive years, where the incidence tends to be 2 to 3 times higher as compared to that seen in cases of man. So, if we talk about the next point, that is the causes and risk factors. A mnemonic about the risk factors I have uploaded on the same channel. You can watch it up. Here, it particularly affects the fair, fat, female, and fertile. These are the most commonest risk factors. Along with it, higher amount of fat diet that leads to obesity, rapid weight loss, sudden changes in weight, increases with age, alcohol condition, or you can say chronic alcoholism, also diabetics. Diabetics may have more complications if the patient is having lack of physical activity, and family history if it's present of gallstone, again it turns out to be the risk factor for development of the same. Pathophysiology, how it develops, that is the development of gallstone, that is, see here it is important to understand that first of all there is a decreased bile acid synthesis. Clear? Now this decrease in bile acid synthesis, it will lead to increased cholesterol synthesis in the liver. This will cause the supersaturation. Supersaturation will be present of bile with cholesterol, and this will cause the formation of precipitates. Formation of precipitates. Clear? Okay. Just a second. If it's, let me check if it is moving or not. Okay, it's okay. Fine. Okay, so this formation of precipitate will lead to the formation of gallstone that we call as cholelithiasis, and if it further proceeds, it even can lead to inflammatory changes, and this inflammatory changes we call it by the term of cholecystitis. Okay, so this is the pathophysiology about the development of cholecystitis or the development of the gallstone. Sign and symptoms. So there are three stages that are present with it. One that is asymptomatic, second one that is the symptomatic stage, and the third one that it is present with the stage of complications. So 60 to 80% of the gallstones that are developed with the are usually asymptomatic. Symptomatic gallstone, it can cause a feeling of, you can say, abdominal bloating, excessive gas, nausea, vomiting, pain that is present in the upper or in the middle part of abdomen, and radiation of the pain that moves from back to the shoulder, worsening of the pain that occurs after eating heavy or fatty meal. And if we see the signs and symptoms that are present with complications, this is usually abnormally light colored stools, blockage of the bowels, dark colored urine, fever, itching, jaundice, or you can say the yellowing of eyes and skin, and severe and constant abdominal pain. Next is about the diagnosis. Diagnosis always begins with a very good history taking, followed it with the abdominal examination. Then you can go for ultrasound. Also, you can go for cholangiography. Now, this cholangiography is a thing where the X-ray examination of the bile duct is done using an intravenous dye or contrast. Also, next you can go for PTC, that is percutaneous transhepatic cholangiography. Now, what happens in this? That a needle is inserted through the skin into the liver from where the contrast is deposited, and the bile duct structures that can be viewed by using X-rays. Next is using CT scans, the use of procedures like ERCP and MRCP, that is endoscopic retrograde cholangiopancreatography and magnetic resonance cholangiopancreatography respectively. Complications, it can lead to conditions like sepsis, it can lead to conditions like cholangitis, it can lead to pancreatitis, it can lead to perforation. Perforation, it occurs in about 10% of the cases, and also it can cause the formation of stone in the common bile duct, that we call it as choledocholecithiasis. Last part regarding this topic, that is about the treatment part, that only the gallstones which are present with symptoms or that present itself with complications, they need treatment. So removal of the gallstone also can be done with a procedure that is called as laparoscopic cholecystectomy. Cystectomy. Now, it is a treatment of choice in cases of symptomatic gallbladder. Also, there is generally no reason for prophylactic cholecystectomy in an asymptomatic patient unless it has certain criteria. Criteria are like the gallbladder is calcified, if the gallstones are around 3 centimeter in diameter. Okay, so these are the criteria. If it fulfills, one can need for prophylactic cholecystectomy. So that's all for the treatment and also as topic for cholecystitis or gallstone. I hope cholelithiasis or gallstone. I hope it proves useful to you. Thank you for watching.